Yesterday was Valentine's Day. I thought of that as I lay on the table in the cardiologist lab having my follow-up heart exam. A young female technician new to me, Sarah, I think her name was, tapped on an instrument panel watching its monitor as we both listened to the amplified sounds of my blood making intermittent whooshing in my veins. Sarah remained solemn and silent. I lay there for what seemed a long time, reflecting on the past week during which I had helped my friend through the last bit of emptying out of her childhood home, her mother having now been moved to a memory care facility. All week as we worked, our hearts had been touched again and again as we uncovered treasure after treasure of memories, including, in fact, saved Valentines and other cards from a host of kids and grandkids, as well as some very yellowed and frayed but loving letters written from a Civil War battlefront by my friend's great-great-something grandparent to his wife. How tender. My reverie was suddenly interrupted when the cardiologist himself walked hurriedly into the exam room, giving me a nod and a murmured greeting before leaning over Sarah's shoulder to peer at the monitor that apparently was revealing the status of my heart. I took deep, calming breaths, wondering how she had silently summoned him. This hadn't happened last time. Was something seriously wrong with my heart? He studied the image on the screen for a few minutes. "Okay," he said. And then he patted Sarah gently on the shoulder and said quietly to her, "And how are you?" "Better today," she said. Then he left as quickly as he had arrived. "Does the doctor come in to see every patient's results like that?" I asked, nervous, fearful. "Oh, no," she said, "and your results are fine. You're better, in fact, than last time. He was actually checking on me. I've had a little crisis." Relieved as to my own condition, but being vaguely sensitive to her words about herself, I said, "I'm so sorry." "Well," she said, "a few months ago I had a big shock, a big unpleasant surprise, and I've taken it hard." Oh, I thought, a different kind of heart emergency. "I haven't been able to eat or sleep. I can't seem to take it in." I continued to lie there on the table, though obviously it was time for me to get up, since, as she said, my heart was fine. "You know," I finally remarked, trying to sound as though I was talking about myself or folks in general, "I'm getting older, and I've seen a lot through these many years, but I've noticed lately it seems like everyone I can think of has some serious thing in their lives. Every family. It's amazing. And we do get down, don't we, from time to time about it?" "Yes," she said, coming to help me up, suddenly talkative. "I know I'll be all right, but last week I decided it was time to talk to the doc about it, to see if I needed some medication. He's very kind. He really cares about all the staff here, and all of his patients, too, of course." "Well, that was good of him to check on you that way today." Then, after a pause, I said, taking a little risk, although I didn't want to be intrusive, "Depression is tough." She agreed instantly. "Yes, yes, it is. I just can't believe any of this that's happened, though. It's like my world's been turned upside down." As I bent over to tie my shoes, I said, "I'll bet it's especially hard because after a shock, we suddenly feel we can't trust anymore, can't trust anybody. And the worst of all, I guess the hardest, is that now, surprisingly, we don't trust ourselves. Most of us get blindsided, and then we wonder, how can I have any confidence anymore in my own judgment or foresight? How can I go forward with no trust in myself or in others or in anything?" Standing up, I asked, looking into her intense dark eyes, "Is it something like that?" "Exactly," she said. "Exactly. You've hit it right on the spot. Everything, all of it." I stood up to leave and said, "Well, many of us go through it, and we're all very vulnerable. You know, we all need to be gentle with ourselves when we get down. So you take care of yourself now, just like you take care of all of us patients who depend on you. You're important to us, you know, the work you do. We trust you with our hearts." I tried to speak with an air of confidence that she could, in fact, take care of herself, that things would mend. "Thank you," she said quietly, with obvious appreciation. And then she went off down the hall, presumably to file the printout of my heart exam, as I walked the other way down the hall to leave. I drove home, thinking about my heart and hers, about Valentine's Day and compassionate heart doctors, and how we all carry each other's hearts, and how delicate it all is, and how much an unexpected pat on the shoulder means, or how much a chance encounter can remind us that we are all, each one of us, carrying our share of life's sorrow as well as life's joys. It took me several hours to get home, and when I got home, I found on my doorstep a box containing beautiful, fresh pink tulips with a sweet Valentine's note from my daughter's family. The tulips, having been delivered the day before, were still fresh and lovely, having sat there overnight by the front door, guarded by 3 cats and a dog, all glad to greet me as I got wearily out of the car, looked up at the stars, and said my prayers of gratitude for safe home, safe heart.